At this moment, Charlie didn't lift his head, and the silver needle in his hand was flying like a fly. With a wave of his hand, he pierced several acupuncture points such as Guan, Hook, Shaoyang, and supplemented with a little spiritual energy to enter Song Lao's body with the tip of the needle. The young woman saw that Charlie really dared to give Song Lao acupuncture directly, and her face suddenly became angry, so she stepped forward to stop it, and blurted out, "Hey, kid, you stop quickly. If something happens, you can be held responsible." At this moment, Tianqi next to her suddenly stopped her, and said in a deep voice, "Hold on, don't disturb him." The young woman said anxiously, "Grandpa, he will treat the patient indiscriminately, and he will treat the patient with problems." Tianqi said in a deep voice, "Jiaovi, look carefully at his injection technique." Seeing that Grandpa said so, the woman had to look at Charlie's hand. At this sight, she was also dumbfounded. It turned out to be the needle technique she had just used. She immediately said angrily, "It's really shameless to steal from the teacher to learn art. I learned away the Shenyang needle method I just applied." Tianqi's face was solemn, and he spoke a few seconds later, "Look again and pay attention to his gestures." The woman looked at it carefully for a while, but suddenly she was shocked, and muttered, "What is he?" She recognized that the needle method Charlie used was indeed the three-yang needle method, handed down by the Shi family's ancestors. It was exactly the same as her acupuncture method just now, but after a closer look, there were some differences. Compared with the Shenyang needle method she used just now, Charlie's acupuncture points were different in several points, even more complicated than her acupuncture method. Is this an upgraded version of the Shenyang needle method? She was horrified and said, "Grandpa, how could he be so?" Tianqi nodded. He was already watching mesmerized, with a look of admiration on his face, and said, "Unexpectedly, this little friend turned out to be a master of both medical and martial arts. You see that his internal interest is stable. The silver needle is steady when the needle is placed, and the real energy is slowly injected. Only a person with a cultivation base of more than 50 years can have such a stable internal breath. I did not expect that his cultivation base would have surpassed me at a young age." The woman said unconvincedly, "Grandpa, in time, I will be able to surpass him." Tianqi sighed, his face full of admiration. "If I read it right, his whole set of acupuncture methods contains the missing part of my Shi family's Shenyang needle method. I didn't expect to see it in my lifetime. The truly lost, three-yang needle method is really lucky for me." After finishing speaking, he glanced at his granddaughter and taught, "Don't talk about you, even if I practice for another 50 years, my cultivation base will be worse than him. It's just that there are a few more acupuncture points, how can it be so magical?" The woman muttered. She was aroused to win, and said with a "Grandpa, what does he do for a few shots?" "My family medicine is ranked first in Nongguang. I don't believe it. He is better than our family in everything, and I will try to compete with him later." Seeing his granddaughter's aggressive face, Tianqi could only shake his head and said, "You don't touch the south wall and don't look back." Half a cup of tea time passed, Charlie's acupuncture was over, and he took a deep breath and said lightly, "The old master will wake up in half an hour. After I give the injection today, I will guarantee his life extension for at least 5 years. Honor blurted out, "You are just F at RTING. Even American experts say that my grandfather can live for a month at most, and you can extend his life by 5 years if you speak." "Why?" Charlie said coldly, "Just because I am Charlie, Charlie Wade." "Bah!" Honor sneered, "You return Mr. Wade, if my grandfather has any shortcomings, I don't want your life." Tianqi's granddaughter stepped forward and said unceremoniously, "Hey, which medical clinic are you from? Where do you teach?" Charlie turned his head and said, "I am not a member of a medical clinic, and I have no teacher." The woman asked, "That's weird. Where did you learn the needle technique?" Charlie smiled and said, "This is my personal matter, and I am sorry for the inconvenience." The woman reluctantly said, "This is my family's ancestral acupuncture method. I naturally have to ask clearly, lest others steal the teacher and learn art. Jovia, don't be rude to Mr. Charlie." Tianqi said with a deep expression. He immediately stepped forward and said respectfully to Charlie, "Mr. Charlie, my granddaughter has both died since childhood. So, don't mind." After speaking, he scolded Jovia again. "Don't you apologize to Mr. Charlie? Don't you see that Mr. Charlie's acupuncture method is better than my family's acupuncture method? His acupuncture method is Sinyang, the ancestor of acupuncture. Moreover, Song Laojing has obviously improved a lot after his treatment." Jovia was aggrieved for a while, gritted her teeth, and said unconvincedly, "I want to compete with him. If he is really capable, I will apologize to him. How long are you going to fool around?" Tianqi blew his beard and stared. The middle-aged man from the Song family next to him was stunned. No one thought that the strength of Charlie was actually higher than that of Tianqi? Honor was also a little confused at once. Does this kid really have a few brushes? How is this possible? Just rely on him? Can Tianqi be convinced?